I'm Elaine Pereira, author of I Will Never Forget, a daughter's story of her mother's arduous and humorous journey through dementia. My mother's was a story that needed to be told. She was a kind, intelligent, accomplished woman all of my life, until dementia took hold, leaving an agitated, bewildered, and compromised person in its wake. There were times when I did not recognize her. She was born Elizabeth Ann Oberle in 1924. In 1945, in the shadows of World War II, she got her bachelor's degree in chemistry from Purdue University. She and a girlfriend, as single ladies, moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan to take jobs at Upjohn Company. She met my dad, F. Wayne Ward. They were married and together had two sons, Gerald or Jerry and David. She was pregnant with her third when a tragic car accident took little David's life. Before car seats, seat belts, and car insurance, my parents faced financial ruin and devastating emotional loss. But somehow my mother remained resolutely strong for her unborn child, me, and they moved forward. My dad was a great provider, but my mother was our everything. She made Christmas magical, endless batches of cookies, took us places, did everything for us and with us. She was a great mom, not unlike all great moms, except that she was mine. Jerry and I graduated from college and married. He did not have children, but I hit the kid lotto with twin daughters born in 1978. The Life is Good years continued until 1995, when my dad had a moderate stroke, thus launching my mother in her 9-year role as his selfless caregiver. The next decade brought considerable drama and grief to our family, especially my mom. Her daughter-in-law, my brother's wife, died suddenly in 2001. 2 years later, Jerry was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and by 2004, in April, my dad died from stroke complications, and my brother in December. It was a very rough patch for all of us. My mother's journey through dementia began the following winter with the first family documented episode of confusion. She was visiting her nephew, my cousin Mike, in Sedona, Arizona. He alerted me to the fact that she was wandering through his place, looking for her apartment. I chalked it up to unspeakable grief. But in reality, no matter how heavy is your heart, you don't forget that you have flown 3 hours from Michigan to Arizona and that his home looks absolutely nothing like where you live. My mother's incidence of paranoia, irrational behavior, and delusion steadily increased. She accused the cleaning ladies of stealing her size 4 petite pants, one of which was very tall and the other very heavy. She got lost driving to the dentist that was only a mile from her house and ended up in another county. She accused others of stealing the homes for sale section of the newspaper, $7 worth of stamps, a nail file, and more. Her agitation increased. I was both too far away physically and too close emotionally to see what was playing out right before my eyes. Phone calls from well-intended staff that worked at the senior center where my mother lived fell on my deaf ears. She never exhibited irrational behaviors and agitation to speak of in front of me. Until May of 2010, when an incident over an innocuous drapery rod brought this cascade of events, and I finally had the proverbial epiphany and realized how compromised my mother really was. It was then that I moved forward rapidly to get her into a more secure facility, and she was relocated in July of 2010 to an assisted living center closer to me. But it wasn't without drama. That next year brought dramatic decline on her part. She was agitated, angry, offset by episodes of amazing lucidity in which she thanked me for all I had done for her. Finally, by late winter of 2011, she had drifted back far enough that she thought her own mother, my grandmother Lillian, was still alive. And probably, due to her irrational and delusional thinking, she escaped her locked assisted living facility during the middle of the night in Michigan, 25-degree temperatures, probably to find her mother and take care of her. My mother was outside for 5 hours before she was found. She never recovered from that episode. But as her voice fell silent, I reflected back on all of the wonderful things that had defined her life, and I was determined that the withering older woman that lay on the bed while I was watching would not be remembered that way, but the vivacious, energetic, accomplished individual that had been my mom. In tribute to her and to everyone going through this journey, I wrote, "I Will Never Forget." I donate from every book sold to support Alzheimer's research. Together, we will make a difference. Thank you.